we call this project seminary, and it's actually in the old seminary. New York Seminary was here for many, many years. So it has the underlying aspects, I think, that are quite fulfilling and gratifying and important in this space to kind of calm things down and declutter it. The idea was that the bed lifts out of the way, so the space does not feel like you're in a bedroom. And then we deployed a series of sliding doors that allows this space to be kind of fully enclosed. So if you're sleeping and you want, to rest and you don't want to be seeing the kitchen, you also don't want noise from the entrance area because the elevator is literally 10 feet away from the door. So it closes out the entrance area, closes off the kitchen, and it also closes off the bathroom. So really making a sense of serenity and openness, and things are out of sight, out of mind, clarifying a space so that it's like peaceful. I mean, even just the names, seminary. So this actually had a theological seminary space in it. So the kind of essence of something that's a little bit more uplifting, that's why you have the oversized windows, the very high ceiling. The space had like a really nice feel. We really wanted to maintain that. And I think if you can capture it now, it's really quiet. You don't have to hear the hum of the refrigerator. You don't hear the doorbells of the people in the hallway. You don't kind of have a sense that you're connected. So it really just feels like a nice, comfortable, oversized sleeping room or living room.
So what did you find when you came here?
What did we find? Oh my God, we found this old apartment that was like painted in this green color. That was like really atrocious. And the oversized loft that was built in this space was taking everything over. Like the leftover space was like this big, which was super tiny. And the kitchen was fully enclosed. It was really rough. But the guts were good. High ceiling, big windows, and we sort of work with that. So the first transformation is really getting the bed out of sight or coming into the space, and it takes up a lot of room. So of course we use a Murphy bed, very efficient, kind of nice detail that we like, that we've used on other projects where the legs come down automatically, right? Sits in here, it's got a comfortable space around it, and now it's a bedroom area that's nice and elegant. And we've got an extra deep space here, so that's why we have these shelves. So you can put your pillows and everything behind here. Your blankets can go here if they're thick in the winter, for example, right? But you can really set up the whole space. I mean, the blankets here, your pillows here. And you have a place where you can plug your things, right? So you got your outlets, your USB charger. So everything is, again, within reach, which is the nice thing about doing built-ins, is that they work well for you at the scale of a human, right? It's like a piece of furniture. But it's all built in, right? So when you're done, kind of put it all away, out of sight, right? You're entertaining, or you're getting up in the morning, you don't want to feel like you're in the studio anymore. Take the bed, lift it out of sight, and it sort of disappears. So lots of storage that's built in. So a closet over here for tall hanging. You notice the light comes on automatically when you open up the door. Tiny little sensor up there, which helps to do things invisibly. And more storage here. And again, we're making use of the vertical space for hanging, right? So we have a fixed hanging bar down here, which is normal, but then we have the pull-down hanging right above, which allows you to kind of really double up the use of storage. And again, you move it out of sight, done with it. Above is all storage, but there's also a fun little detail, which is that behind here we have our projector. The client is really into entertaining, and there's a TV over there in that custom cabinet, but it actually pops out of there when you need it. In the corner over there, there's actually a bar fridge, and you can see the alcohol's there. It's just tucked out of sight. You would never know that there's a fridge there. Little tiniest fridge that we could find. We like to do these height adjustable tables. Pressing these buttons allows you to have a table height or counter height, and what the client really liked was the fact that it goes to bar height. So I thought that was kind of interesting, that the element of the height adjustable table was more appealing, not so much for its functional use as additional counter space. So it's an extension of the kitchen. But the fact that it was like, could go bar height was what they really liked. I remember that. That was kind of a fun moment. It's like, all right, bar height. So you can see it's at 37 inches. It goes down a little bit more, which we don't really need to go too much further, but it goes out. To a really good height. It's got felt underneath it so you can slide it around. So if you want to have dinner where the bed typically is, the table moves into there. You can have guests. There's also, I really like this table design. The storage is all built in kind of inconspicuously, but this works not only as drawers, but so there are actually table leaves that are up there, which putting those onto there, it goes from a 5-foot to an 8-foot table.
So you have a space?
Yeah, it's like a storage space that, yeah, it's a little nook above, yeah. So basically there's a storage area above, you know, so above the kitchen area, the footprint of that is an area for storage, however they use it.
And it could even fit a bed.
Not that I would know. So you can access through this custom ladder the space up here. But it's not quite tall enough to stand up here, so when you come up, you're kind of like, wow, cozy.
So there's quite a bit of space up there.
Yeah, you can't stand up, but it's really the footprint of the kitchen below, you know? And then, you know, it is removable, so this ladder from down below, I can unhook it and move it to different places to access the storage. Make sure you don't bang into anything. And then you come into here. And there's some metal grommets in there that actually lines up perfectly with it. So you do really have to like line them up perfectly like to get them into the metal. Yeah, perfect. There we go. So one table leaf. It's heavy. Got it? So you pull out the drawer. So the table leaves now basically go on top of the drawer. Line it up. And the wood veneer just carries through. The same thing on this side. Of course, ideally here we would have it moved into the main space, right? Be a bit tight. Yeah. So yeah, we lower it down. Table height. Oh, do you notice that?
Yeah.
This is a safety feature actually. Hits the chair, goes back up. So it senses the stair as an impediment and it goes back up automatically. Move the chair. Oh, there we go. Now we should be fine. Nice table height. I mean, the table itself has felt on the underside to help it slide around.
But still, one person can move it.
Yeah, and you're not moving it very far. You know, you're just moving it a few feet over. So now you have a nice large table for guests. You know, we don't have enough. You can move that chair maybe a little more towards the middle, but it's not like we have the whole chair right now, but just kidding. Yeah, I know, these stools I was saying are not the right height.
10 people in this apartment is quite impressive.
Yeah, for a tiny 400 square foot apartment, eating with 10 and you don't really feel like you're in a bed. You're not really sitting on the bed while you're having your dinner, you know. All right. So you wake up, you know, you're done entertaining, open up the kitchen. You know, the kitchen's compact, works really well though. It's actually an IKEA hack, so this is using a kind of IKEA cabinetry. All we did is lowered the handles 1/2 of an inch, so you just have to re-drill the holes, but now you don't need pulls, you can just grab the underside. And then it just creates a gap up there against the ceiling, which works well. Or we modified certain things, for example, the dishwasher over here, built-in dishwasher. You have a little bit of leftover space above, little drawer. You know, so it's somewhat customized, but guts of it are standard. Custom little drawer, get everything out of sight. This is a built-in refrigerator freezer.
Okay. So you're using the drawers, not the other type of
Right, because in here, putting a large-scale refrigerator would have eaten up 1/4 of the space. Plus, in this neighborhood, for this client, they didn't need a huge refrigerator. This is all they really need. To the point that the cooking is kind of minimal for them, we just have an induction cooktop with 2 burners. That's really all they needed. You know, small 24-inch oven, and then leftover space that doesn't fit, you know, just take up every square leftover space.
Right.
What I liked about this kitchen is that it's kind of a nook. So we wrap the floor tile onto the wall. We actually wanted to wrap it onto the ceiling too, which we didn't do, but we did paint it this silver gray paint to kind of unify it. So the floor tile basically comes to the wall, comes up on the sides. Ideally it would go up the ceiling, but we didn't go that far. So it's kind of a nice interlocking L, you know, you've got the floor darker gray, and you got the backsplash L here as well. So the same thing, the countertop becomes the backsplash in the same material. This kind of continuous planes really helps to kind of unify things. Yeah. On the way to the bathroom, what I like is instead of doing a walk-in closet, it's normally a hallway that you use for every day. But when you want to use it as a closet, you open up these doors and then It's a walk-in closet.
Nice.
And then we'll see. This is a fully custom cabinet where we have laundry hampers on the bottom, right? Pull-out drawers over here. And what we're really doing is using every square inch. So these, you'll notice, are quite deep as drawers. And then you'll open up this one, it's shallow, right? Because there's a column. So up here, it's much shallower, and in the back here, it's much deeper.
Great.
So the cabinet wraps around any protrusions, and so there's deeper drawers, shallower drawers. Just using it all up efficiently. And then you're in here basically as a dressing room, right? So you're getting dressed, you've got your mirrors on both sides, and you don't need the space anymore. Just tuck it away. Now you're back, right? So now it's our hallway. One place that I really like in this project is the bathroom, because you might have noticed we have these very tall ceilings. They're just 13.5 feet. And in the old space, the bathroom was a loft throughout, so it was just an 8-foot, 7-foot ceiling space. But now when you come in here, we have the full height. So one of the things that we did to kind of deal with that extra height is we designed these custom lights up there. So these cylinders were designed by us. They're actually components for industrial products that kind of float in the space, like moments of raindrops kind of coming down. And it helps to kind of create a lot of mood. The reflection in the mirror, you see them. And if you look up there, they're reflected into the glass. But there's also a piece of glass up there where it's also reflected. And when you're in the bathroom, you're enclosed again into this kind of intimate, spa-like space. Right, so you're in here, it's quiet. You basically have this translucent ephemeral light everywhere from the frosted glass from these things. Aside from taking advantage of the ceiling height, which we think is a really nice dramatic feature to this space, we also tiled all the floor and the walls together so you get this kind of seamless, continuous surface. But we also got rid of the tub. So now there's a shower that's a walk-in. So you walk in, there's a drain, and then there's another floor drain. Basically, we have dual floor drains to make sure that we're really good, making sure that water doesn't get anywhere. This one specifically, what's nice is that you have a shower door, which lines up nicely with the drain. So any water that's coming in here is never gonna make its way into the dry area, right? So your shower control is here. You got the shower head there. So you have a beautiful shower area here, which is very generous proportion, right? But it's not a fixed shower surface, so that when you are done taking the shower, right, most of the time when you're using the bathroom, you don't have that in here. It's a larger space. You do a dual sink, right? Great. 2 faucets. 2 people can actually use the space at the same time. What's really nice about these as well is somebody could be taking a shower while the other person can still use the sink in the bathroom, and the space is kind of really 2 separate spaces in one. And it just really moves out of sight. You barely even notice it. One other important detail of this space is this oversized mirror, right? Because it's very narrow, but it's very tall. It's also quite long. So the mirror really helps to kind of create an illusion that the space is much wider than it is. So this is a custom designed cabinet, right? So it's filled with storage behind. And you might notice again that it has varying depth because there are pipes in there that we're kind of optimizing and using up the space, but there's a ton of storage in here. You know, so it's important in terms of the space so that the space reads much bigger. It's also, I think, important because it provides a lot of storage up here where it disappears into the wall, and instead of having a large vanity where everything kind of gets cluttered, you can have this slight hotel feel where you can put a couple towels and things like that. So if you want to get into the shower, you would open the door first, and then you put the water on. You put the shower on, right? Right, so the water will come through here, and it might come across the top there, but it'll go inside of this channel. That trough captures the water, and the glass is centered on it, so this part over here is going to stay dry. Yeah. There you go. So again, you take it out of the sight, close it up, done. You get a little squeegee up there for taking out big water if you like. So what I like about the frosted glass is that it gives you a really beautiful quality of light. It gives you some privacy, so acoustically you're sealed in. You also don't really see through it too well. But if you're really concerned about privacy, I mean, for a couple it's fine. But if you have guests, you slide the other door there, right? So if guests, you want additional visual or acoustic privacy, you also close this one, right? So now you'd be much better off with the 2 doors, and then you couldn't hear anything. Yeah. So above is all storage. Now there's a ton of storage up there. Seminary, the word that we chose, we actually hyphenate between seminary because we're actually playing on the connotation that it was a seminary building. But it's also seminary as two words. It's like half, right? Semi, partial, half, and nary being basically nothing. It's almost nothing. It's a small, tiny studio space. It really is not a grand apartment in the traditional sense, right? You don't have great views, but it's still an amazing space that's uplifting. It works really well as far as a studio. So we make do with that, right? By designing things like we do have a door that closes off the entrance area, creating a foyer. You know, having a foyer in a studio apartment. It's a nice detail. It really blocks out the sound. The elevator is really close. You really do hear people at the elevator. Everything is tight, but you have room. So guests come in, right? Hang the jackets, your shoes away, umbrella. Over here, lots of shoes. What's great is these are actually height adjustable. So depending on what you want to store, you can make these taller or lower. Yeah. So it's a studio apartment with a foyer. We have these oversized windows that don't necessarily have dramatic views. I mean, they have awesome kind of urban views of the property that's 20 feet or 30 feet away. But then we have all these beautiful shades that kind of block it off. You know, these are relatively simple moves, but I think that they work together in concert to kind of culminate into something that becomes a lot more than what they would on their own. Right. So the first set of door helps to deal with the issue of noise control from the lobby, right? These set of doors helps to enclose the kitchen, right? So you're done the kitchen. Good night, right? Don't need to see the mess. You can clean it up in the morning. Also, if you're done over here, right? Close it up. And then this space, the way it feels right now, it's very soft. You know, I'll turn this light off. Right? Now it's all just natural light, but very soft. Right? I think the kind of light that you might get in a place of worship or other, whatever you go, but it's very quiet, calm, soothing.